Alright, so this video, let's look at dividing numbers that are in scientific notation. Uh, I did a video on multiplying, check that out, and I did a video on converting from scientific notation to standard form and standard form to scientific notation. So if you need to look at those, check those out. Alright, so let's get started. So we want to divide these two numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the 6.9 and the 3, and then we'll divide the 10 to the 8th and 10 to the 5th. Okay, so first let's forget about the tens right here for right now, and let's just look at this 6.9 divided by 3. So I don't know if your teacher lets you use a calculator. You can plug it into your calculator, or you could come over here to the side and you've got 6.9 divided by 3. So remember, the decimal goes up, 3 goes into 6, 2, that's 6, 0, bring down the 9, so that's 2.3. Okay, so we know this is equal to 2.3, all right, times, and then we have to look at the tens, okay, 10 to the 8th and 10 to the 5th. Now remember, there's a property that says a to the m over a to the n is equal to a to the m minus n. So if you're dividing and you have like bases, you subtract the exponents. And see, that's what we're doing here. We're dividing, we have like bases, so we subtract the exponents. And so that would be times 10 to the 8 minus 5. Okay, and so this would give us 2.3 times 10 cubed, and this would be your answer. Okay, so these are the three problems we're going to work. All right, so let's look at the next one. All right, so this one, well, let's look at it. Okay, so I've got 1.5 over 3. Okay, so I mean, we can come over to the side and divide that. So let me show you this. So let's see, we've got 1.5 divided by 3. Okay, all right. So this goes into 3 goes into 15 how many times? 5. But look, you bring up your decimal point. You see that? And so that would just be 0.5. But another way you could look at that is 1.5 over 3. And if we want to move the decimal, we're going to multiply by 10. So we have to multiply the denominator by 10. And so that would be what? 15 over 30. And you can see that reduces to 1/2, which is 0.5. So that's another way. This was a little easier, but that's another way you could do it. All right, so the 1.5 divided by 3, that's going to give us 0.5. Okay. All right. Now, this part, the tens here. All right, so that's times 10, and then I subtract the exponent, so that's -2 minus -6. And so this would give me 0.5 times 10, and that's -2. See that? -2 plus 6. The minus and minus make plus, so that would be 10 to the 4th. All right, but now notice this. This is not in scientific notation, because remember, scientific notation, the decimal point has to be to the right of the first non-zero digit. Okay, so we need to convert this into scientific notation, the 0.5. Just pretend like the times 10 to the 4th, pretend like that's not even there. It's just going to be tagging along. All right, so let's convert. So I move it one place to the right. Okay, so that's going to become 5 times, okay, and we had to move it to the right. So remember, if you're going from standard form to scientific notation, you move it to the right. That's going to be times 10, and we moved it one place, so that's to the -1. Okay, if you need to, check out the video on converting. I have that. All right, and then times this 10 to the 4th. Okay, all right, so the 0.5 here, that's this part here. Okay, and then I wrote times 10 to the 4th. And then that equals, and so that's going to give us what? 5 times, and look at this. 10 to the -1 times 10 to the 4th. Well, remember, a to the m times a to the n. I'm multiplying. I have like bases, so that means I add the exponents. Okay, and so that's going to give me times 10 to the -1 plus 3. I'm sorry, plus 4. Okay, and so that's going to be 5 times 10 cubed. Okay, all right, and of course there we left that in scientific notation. All right, now let's take a look at the last one. All right, so, well, first thing we need to do here is look at the numbers. First, we need to convert them all to scientific notation, and then we can perform the operation. All right, so let's take, I'm just going to come down here and do each one of them. So let's look at the 66,000. Okay, there's the decimal. Okay, so it has to go to the right of the first non-zero digit. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and so this is 6.6 times 10. Now I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the left, so that's to the +4. Okay, now I know I'm going through this kind of fast, but if you need to watch how to convert these things, check out my other video. All right, and then maybe I'll show you how to convert this one, 0.001, and then I'll just go ahead and write those because these will be converted just like this one. All right, so I need to move it 1, 2, 3 decimal places. Okay, so that's going to be times. I guess we can put that in parentheses. It doesn't matter. All right, times 1 times 10. Okay, so I moved it 1, 2, 3, so that would be 10 to the -3. And then you can see, you see these, the 0.002 and 0.003, those would be the exact same as this. See, this would, you would just have a 3 there, so it would be the same thing. Okay, and so this is over, and that's going to be 3 times 10 to the -3. And then you can see here, if we converted the 0.002, that would just be a 2 there, so we would have a 2 times 10 to the -3. Alrighty, so let's look at this, and you know this right here actually doesn't look that bad. Okay, all right, so I mean there's a couple of ways you could do it. I think the easiest thing, let's just go ahead and multiply across the top and multiply across the bottom, and then see what happens. All right, so let's multiply these. So I have 6.6 times 1 is 6.6 times, and then just like what we did here when we multiplied the tens, okay, so that's 10 to the 4th times 10 to the -3. So that would be times 10 to the 4 plus -3. Okay, And then this one, well, 3 times 2, that's 6. So that's nice. That's going to divide nicely. Times 10, and then I'm multiplying like basis, so I add the exponents. So that's 10 to the negative 3 plus negative 3. Okay. And so let's just write this real quick. 6.6 times 10 to the first over 6 times 10 to the negative 6. All right. So let's see what we've got here. Well, I can come over to the side. I mean, hopefully you can see that's just going to be 1.1. Okay, but for those of you that can't, there we'll divide it. So that's 1. Bring the 1 up. 1 times 6 is 6. 0, 6. 6 goes into 6 one time. There's your 1.1. Okay, so that's 1.1 when I divide it. Times, okay, now I've got like basis, so I'm going to subtract the exponent. So times 10 to the 1 minus negative 6. And so this is going to give me 1.1 times 10 to the 7th. And there's your answer. All right, so I know this ran a little long, but hopefully it helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.